Good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chapter 8 of 2 Week, 2 Strong 2.0. My name is Rashid Khan, and I'm really happy that you've joined us today for another exciting chapter of TWTS. Interestingly, I guess it's the first time that we have a trainer from Pakistan for this and what a great profile we've got. A true mentor with rich experience of helping individuals turn their entrepreneurial dreams into a profitable reality. Before I share more about today's session and the trainer, let me begin with a very important announcement. Please make sure that your MyACC account is fully up to date. All your contact details and payments should be in order. So if you have not renewed for 2021 yet, please do it today. The deadline is just around the corner. 18th May is the deadline for members and affiliates, and 25th May is for students. And with Eid holidays coming up, I encourage you to actually get this off your to-do list ASAP, so you remain fully supported and you keep chasing your dreams and reaching your full potential in your careers by staying connected with your global network. And don't forget, there's a highly valuable Future Ready Business Professional certificate waiting for those who will attend all the chapters of this season's 2 Week 2 Strong, and we are almost reaching the finale. So make every effort to ensure you don't miss any chapter. Today's topic is a complete guide to starting up in a post-COVID world. For today's session, we are joined by Sayed Asfar Hussain. Asfar is the program manager at National Incubation Center, Karachi. Asfar has a diverse experience of media, communications, marketing, and administration at leading organizations. He's currently the program manager at the National Incubation Center, Karachi. He previously served as manager and head of technology park and technology incubation center, International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, ICCBS. He's also an advisor to the Entrepreneurship Development Fund and the Pakistan Academic Consortium. He's member of National Standards Committee, IT and ICT Division of Pakistan Standards and Quality Control Authority, which is PSQCA. Asfar has worked as project manager for Built by Her, a largest female-led hackathon, and also was the project coordinator for Karachi Citizen Lab, an initiative to make Karachi a resilient city. No doubt about that Karachi is a resilient city, and he is presently member board of advisory ORIC at the Jinnah University for Women. He's mentor at corporate mentorship program at DHA Sofa University. He's member Incubation Council IOBM, member of IAB for Ziauddin University, Faculty of Engineering Sciences and Technology, member advisory board ICCBS Technology Park and Technology Incubation Center, member advisory incubation at PAF KEAT. He is an advisory member of ITC in Asia. He has also remained a member of multiple standing committees of the FPCCI and member of Communications Committee of KCCI. Asfar believes in strengthening the entrepreneurial landscape of Pakistan. He's also actively engaged in working with multiple stakeholders towards the growth of entrepreneurship in Pakistan. So a very, very rich profile with, a very diverse experience. So without further ado, I now invite Asfar to take over. Hello, Asfar, can you hear me?
Hello, and thank you, Rashid. I can hear you well. Thank you very much.
So the stage is yours now.
Thank you for the introduction, Rashid. So we have like 50 minutes more, and to start it off, I think so this entire COVID journey of 15 months or so has been very interesting at NIC. And we talk to our partners, we talk to our friends, and especially ACCA, which is a very forthcoming organization in terms of and very receptive when it comes to ideas, when it comes to talking to about innovation and what's happening around in the startup landscape of Pakistan. And when we were discussing this topic, and it's suggested by Rashid, since NIC actually had this pivot, you can say, of getting into this hybrid mode very easily, and with that leading this space in terms of this program management, of finding new businesses and their pivots, especially during this COVID time. We have seen that in the last 1.5 years or so, how companies have changed and how companies have actually embraced a pandemic, which is actually a tragedy for most of us. But how these companies have learned and they have changed their businesses, or at least have pivoted it accordingly. So this is to start with. It's you can say that it's a guide, but at the same time, what we have shared in this presentation is more so of our experience, and especially considering Pakistan and what's happening in this space of entrepreneurship and startups, and how this space is growing, and especially when it comes to accountants, finance professionals. One thing that comes to my mind, that new businesses do struggle in managing their finances, in managing their structure, in managing their governance, managing their overall growth, in talking to investors. I think so. With your background, the audience, which is mostly of finance and accounting background, I think so. This to starting off something new, and having these skills, I think so. You guys are the best candidates for starting new ventures, because you have these skill set better than other professionals. So let me just start it off with. Can you guys see my screen? Yes. So as Rashid has already introduced me, I'm the program manager at the National Incubation Center, Karachi. And this briefly about my profile that was also discussed. And since this working at NIC and working in this entrepreneurship enabling organization, it gives me this opportunity not only to interact with different universities, different organizations, but especially global organizations like the Founder Institute, Silicon Valley, the Global Innovation through Science and Technology programs, the US government-led program. So it has actually helped us work with these organizations and take their experiences. So this was shared earlier. So now about the NIC and National Incubation Center, Karachi. NIC Karachi is part of a family of incubators. So incubator, some of you who are not aware, incubators are space that facilitates, enables new businesses, just like an incubation space or an incubator in a hospital, or in a poultry farm where there's the chicken the eggs are taken care of, the nourishment is given to them, or a baby in an incubator, and it's given nourishment. It's just like where a business at a very initial stage is given this nourishment, this support, this energy, this enablement, so that they can grow and they can learn fast. So it's part of a family of incubators, where we are located in all 4 provinces of Pakistan, and in the federal capital, Islamabad. There are 5 NICs. It is funded by the Ministry of IT, Federal Ministry of IT, and this one, the NIC Karachi, is operated by LNKT, which is a large technology company based in Karachi, in Multan, in Islamabad, and they have different ventures which makes them an international company as well. So this is about the 3 main organizations that are this critical to this NIC program in Karachi, which is funded by Ignite, operated by LMKT, and the state-of-the-art university NAD, which we all know it's home to Pakistan, some of the magical innovations that have come to Pakistan. And you all might be knowing it, or it's an interesting fact that NAD University has the distinction of having founders that have founded companies of more than $1 billion. So not one, two, three. There are many founders that have someone like Raghib Hussain, who's founded Cavium in USA, and that company has a valuation of close to $5 billion, and he was an NAD graduate. So NAD has a critical role in the overall startup ecosystem, and their graduates have actually worked abroad as well. So we all work together, and the facility is in Karachi, and at the same time we have our 4 sister concerns that work across Pakistan, enabling startups and the ecosystem. So I'll go to the next slide. Yes. So about the NIC program, what we call it NIC very fondly, National Incubation Center Karachi, but we call it NIC. This is basically a hands-on 6 months program where you have a lead, where you get all the best ingredients that a startup founder can possibly get to have build their network, to help them in their business, to scale up, and the initial problems that come to a business, especially in their infancy stage, we cater them. We provide them space. We give them access to capital and investors. We routinely engage them with different mentors and coaches, which is essential. So it's a state-of-the-art for facility. We have incubated more than 135 businesses. We are in operations for the last 3 years and have started or incubated more than 135 businesses. So this is very essential, and I suggest that most of you should have a look at this program as well, in terms of why is it essential, and why is it important for an entrepreneur to get a structured kind of a program. And we do it at NIC. And it's very important to, if someone is starting off, and most of you, since you are interested to start a new venture or a company, or those of you so these are the key areas or key you can say specializations that we work on, and you as founders, you can either follow the Founder Institute program, you can either independently do it yourself, you can structure it through the guidance given to various courses at ACCA, but at this, but all of it boils down to these subject areas, where if a founder excels in these areas, like knowing the company, knowing your vision about it, working on customer development and business development is essential, working on getting new customers, working on their revenue, improving their branding, design, and the marketing point of view, working on their legal, have their go-to-market strategy, working on the product, hiring and onboarding. HR is essential. And then they have the growth strategy, where I was earlier mentioning that as founders with accounts and finance background, growth, equity funding, and funding is relatively easier, or we can safely say that people with accounting background are well placed. So I highly recommend that you guys see through this program, or through a structured routine. If you guys work on a startup, do look at these areas of actually importance. So I have mentioned more about the NIC facility. It has an auditorium, a co-working space. We have state-of-the-art conference and meeting rooms. So all of you who are in Karachi are most welcome to visit our facility as well. So yes, now coming to our core area of discussion, and that's essential for all of you to know. Uh, we usually have different cohorts and different engagements where startups are incubated or inducted in the NIC program. And usually people say that what's a startup and how is it different from a small business? So I have shared this definition, which is by the AWS, which is Amazon Web Service. This definition actually describes what a startup is. So, in my humble opinion, starting a new business and starting a startup are two different things. And a new business, and we'll share a bit about it with examples in our next slide. But the definition of a startup, according to AWS, actually fits the entire concept of the philosophy of startups and why startups are so essential in the new era. So, startup is a company that is mainly scalable, and it talks about growth. It talks about scalability. It talks about a focus on a product. So usually the startups have an exit strategy. The startups go for an IPO. Whereas if we look through a routine business or a small business, and if you can see the slide, a startup is a scalable company where founders have a vision to become big and world class. At the same time, a small company is a company that is usually family businesses. And if you can see the screen, uh, there are examples of the startup landscape in Kuwait, where you have Talabat and 99 stores, where a particular thing is emphasized and in terms of its growth avenue. So I can give you some Pakistani example. A small business will be having a grocery store at a supermarket. But if that grocery store thinks that they can deliver something all over Pakistan using technology, they can become Food Panda's Food Mart or Panda Mart. At the same time, there can be a store selling basic clothes or shoes in a shopping mall, but at the same time, if that store thinks that they can deliver it across Pakistan using technology, and they can specialize in providing the best service, then it becomes a startup. So the key to a startup and a routine and a normal small business is the scalability of it, the growth of it, and most importantly, the overall avenues of multiplying it. So you can have an online store and it can reach 10 times growth across Pakistan than a physical store with limited customers working in a closed locality. The startup has more risk and more return, which is a basic philosophy. At the same time, the product usually innovates in terms of their market business process design or bringing something new altogether. So some of the innovations that startups do all around the world is, if we look at good examples like Uber, like Airbnb, and other companies where they have uh, innovated the business process design, where they have eliminated many of the middlemen or middle players. At the same time, there are companies that are working in cutting edge technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and others, where they have made innovative products that have worked uh, and have actually solved a big problem. So starting off a new business, or especially during these times, and we're looking at the COVID era, I think so. This problem solving approach is so important. So if we look at startups across, the problem solving is so necessary, and that it gives them this chance of scale and growth across boundaries, across cities. So if you look at this slide, the key element of a startup is the mentorship and advice, and that is why what incubators do usually, the talent and skills to really scale it up. Education and regulation should be easier, where companies should operate across boundaries, across countries, and usually they have investors which are venture capitalists. They invest, and at the same time, if you have a small new business, they are working in the particular market only and have limited approach. So startups are scalable tech companies that work to solve problems, and at the same time have this growth that gives them this chance to really grow 10 times or 100 times or 1,000 times. So this since we want to emphasize, and most of you are here to know more about new businesses and want to start it off, this we have actually practiced it and emphasized on what makes something a great idea, why should you start, and what are the key ingredients or essentials to start off a new idea. So I think so the fundamental, uh, you can say the most important aspect of starting something new or a new business is the founder or the one who initiates the business. He or she has to be passionate about it. If they're not passionate, they cannot start new business. And that we have seen in founders that we regularly meet at the National Incubation Center Karachi, where you'll find people who are passionate to solve problems. They are okay in quitting their jobs or not starting one, depending on their passion to solve that problem. So you need to be extremely passionate. Yes, money is a great motivator, but at the same time, if you don't have passion to or problem solving approach, you will not be able to uh, start it off in a big way. So that makes a passionate founder is very important for a great startup idea. Um, Keep it simple is absolutely necessary. So if you're not focused, you want to have so many things at the same time. Um, the startup we have seen, even with good founders, they don't materialize because of a company is trying to do too many things at a time rather than being just focused on solving a particular problem. For instance, what Airbnb did was to identify a tourism uh, challenge where not everyone wanted to use big hotels, or something where which can be incentivized for local people across the globe to use their residence or their homes as a revenue alternative revenue medium. Just like Uber revolutionized the entire taxi industry, where you can own your own car, and at the same time you can earn revenue out of it. Uh, we can see that Netflix or the OTT platforms have actually revolutionized the entire concept of cinema. So all are very simple concepts and focused concepts of problem solving and giving great solutions. So one, you have to be passionate. Two, you have to make it simple. Three, you have to have one revenue stream. This is a usual case where people say that they'll do the startups or the new founders want to earn from every possible manner, but they don't focus on one thing to have one revenue stream. If you have a particular revenue stream that gives you this confidence of running your business, you will stay focused. Otherwise, if there are multiple streams with possibility of switching from one to another, you will also falter in your overall approach. So one revenue stream is more important. Then you need to be you just have to be a very simple method to it by an exercise where you identify the stakeholders approach, and you don't have multiple stakeholders. The steps to revenue are easy, and that's why I was mentioning that most of the startups have removed the middlemen, where the middlemen has actually uh, kind of end uh, is actually a big blockage to people with great solutions. So, and eliminating a middleman actually helps the revenue of organization as well. We have, I'll give you one example in Pakistan, where there is a startup by the name of Pipu, which is an agri-tech startup at the National Incubation Center, Karachi. What they have done is eliminated a middleman from the agriculture sector. So what they have done is uh, you have an arthi in local language in Punjab and Sindh, you call them middlemen as arthis. The arthis control your agriculture. They control the buying of from the farmers. But if there is a technology where farmer can directly reach to markets, the farmer will be more incentivized and the markets will gain better produce. So this was achieved and done through Pipu, a startup at the NIC, and just like what we mentioned in the earlier slide, have actually made the revenue or the stakeholders more streamlined and have actually solved the problem. So you need to know your customer. That's essential for a startup to start. And you need to know them well. You need to know the entire market. You need to know how you will make money out of them, how you will get those customers. This is with the knowledge of markets, and you need to have the entire research done. And I'll advise that whenever you want to start a business, it's great to have the entire research done for it. You need to know the total addressable market. You need to know how the other competitors behave. You need to know where the data is, and most of it comes through research. So research is essential. And then whenever we have seen that companies that have actually gone global or are a global success story, they have solved problems that are not just for the local community or at the national level, but they are at truly international challenge. So whenever you want to start something or launch a startup, you need to think that it should solve a problem. And if it solves a problem globally, then your chances of success are absolutely high. And then this obviously needs to have a secret sauce or key USP, which is the unique selling proposition. You need to know that your startup, how it differentiates from other startups, or for that matter, other businesses. We have the example of Amazon, we have the example of eBay, we have the example of Daraz in Pakistan, we have the example of even Careem. When Careem was launched in Pakistan, now that it is acquired by Uber, but at the same time they have this incentive of changing their business strategy in Pakistan, and for some reason we have seen that Pakistan was the main contributor in their customer growth, especially in the MENA region. So Careem did that in Pakistan. So I think for the this is very important. You need to check the negatives that are in your business. You need to know how what are your weaknesses and how you can overcome them. This is very important. Uh, Identifying the weaknesses and overcoming them will only make your startup better, and that's only done by tweaking. So finally, this is a very interesting concept of sharing your idea. Usually when someone comes with an idea, people say that you should not discuss it with many people. You should keep it secret. You should not. You should even go for patents. You should have this as a source of pride, and just keep it to your chest. Don't discuss it with others. Uh, these businesses may work for research or some kind of special innovation in research, but not with high commercial products. Since if you don't discuss it with the ecosystem around, you will never find the acceptance of the idea. So one should definitely discuss idea, and that too very openly. Some of the interesting startup statistics that I will quickly share. As we know, as expected, the biggest economy in the world, United States, is the leading country when it comes to startups. Another interesting factor, and since most of you have finance and accounting background, fintech is in absolute demand, and I'll suggest that most of you look at different models. I can safely say that China as a country has one of the most innovative fintech products that we have seen. How they have used social platforms like WeChat for payments, which was kind of followed by different organizations across. We need to see how you as accountants and as finance professionals know how technology and how new business requirements, especially when we call it in a touchless world where pandemic is not ending, we need to find on different payments and fintech solutions that actually work in this touchless economy. The most valued startup in the world is by ByteDance, and you must be aware, you guys must be knowing about it, is TikTok, and it's the most valued company is ByteDance. They own TikTok. So 69% of the companies are home businesses, and this is a very high number. 40% of startups are profitable because obviously they identify problems, they identify the challenges, and they have a problem solving approach with a mindset of scalability. That's why they are usually scalable. So entrepreneurs are working in different areas like artificial intelligence, blockchain and other technologies. And to start it off globally, most of the startup founders have less than $25,000 to their disposal. Roughly, that will be around 4 million Pakistani rupees. Not everyone is a rich founder. It's challenging everywhere, and the idea actually helps them grow. So these are some of the highest valued startups in the world. ByteDance we have just discussed. Stripe is a leading fintech. We have SpaceX. You all must be aware about Elon Musk and his journey of doing amazing and crazy things that have actually inspired all of us. Those of you who follow gaming, Epic Games is there. They are one of the leading startups in the world. So um, most of these startup companies are either based in US or have originated there. So now, after this international background of startups and some of the leading names in the world, uh, what's in it for all of us who are in Pakistan? So I'd like to share this graph provided by the I2I, which is a research company, and it gives market insights. Despite these tough times of COVID, despite these challenges, Pakistani startup ecosystem in the year 2020 saw an investment of over $65.6 million. So when we believe and when we are convinced that it is the best time for all of you and most of us to start new business, this is not just it's not just a belief that comes out of nowhere. It's basically out of research and the great ecosystem developments that's happening around, and especially in the last 2-3 years, where the venture capitalists or investors are coming to Pakistan. The State Bank, SECP, and FBR have actually being very good with their policies of uh, supporting new businesses, enabling them, facilitating them, and at the same time we have different incubators, universities, and other ecosystem players coming in, supporting the new businesses, supporting new ideas, giving space to new entrepreneurs. So we have seen this, that last 2 years have seen phenomenal growth. 2020 with this wonderful 66 million coming into Pakistan. There are special sectors like mobility, e-commerce, edtech, health tech that have seen great growth, especially in the COVID times. So since 2000, if we look at the last 5 years, there's close to $200 million that has been parked in the startups. So these are Pakistani statistics, mostly fintech, edtech, and other e-commerce verticals have been in great demand during the pandemic, and we can all see that how e-commerce has actually grown. Firstly, because of necessity, but now people are used to convenience, and you find different companies delivering different things across Pakistan in quick time, and now most of the population is getting used to different modes of e-commerce, and this has a background, and that's why we have seen growth in fintech as well, where different companies are facilitating their payments when different players are giving e-commerce solutions. Then there is the concept of online learning, where schools, colleges, universities are adopting different solutions. At the same time, health and health technology is so important, where most of the businesses are now focused on a touchless world where doctors and other medical practitioners are giving their advice or their solutions online or digitally. So these are some of the superstars from Pakistan. With a growing startup ecosystem, we have some of the best companies coming in. We have the likes of Food Panda, Kareem, Finjar, Rosie, Baikia. Baikia is such an amazing startup, and it started from the National Incubation Center, Karachi, with just one simple idea. The founder is amazing, Mr. Munib Meyer, who runs Baikia, has a simple philosophy. A middle class or a lower middle class Pakistani can afford and own a bike. How about making that bike revenue engine as well? So he can drive his bike, but at the same time, this bike helps him to earn money, to earn a better livelihood, to make this a business, and they are successful since then. Airlift is a great example of giving mobility solutions. We have a startup by the name of Desktop. They are helping basically people with special needs, and you have the likes of Ola Dog, which is a health tech, Cheetah, which is on delivery and mobility side. You have Taste Financial, which is a fintech. Is Siyat Kani, founded by two amazing ladies, Dr. Sara and Dr. Ifat, doing their amazing services of health tech. So, like I mentioned earlier, uh, these some of these steps are driven by the government, and it has actually helped the government to incentivize new businesses. And if you can look at the screen, uh, there is zero income tax on IT exports till June 2025. So great time to start your business. Most of you are thinking to start a business, make it a digital front, start it off digitally, and avail this great incentive by the government. 100% equity is allowed for foreign investors. So you will find people investing in your company outside Pakistan because of a great facilitation by the government. You have software technology parks coming in. 16 IT parks have been enabled. You can work from these IT parks. They are state of the art, and they all of them support new businesses. So you have the venture capitalists have been given tax holiday till 2024. That also encourages new businesses. Repatriation of dividend and investment is allowed to foreign IT companies. They have a tax holiday as well. So some of these are really groundbreaking. And if you can visit the website of SECP, you will find that registering a company is now so easy. Uh, uh, we all remember that in the if you look at like 5 to 10 years or maybe even more, when there were no digital tools attached, registering a company used to be like uh, if not few weeks, definitely more than 10, 12 days or even more, a long, lengthy process. Now you can do it in just a few minutes through the website of SECP, and it's very easy, very convenient. And the SECP is being fundamentally led by people who know technology, and it's great to see the ecosystem, especially the government side, helping new businesses to achieve and grow. So, so we can see that in the last 2 or 3 years, the everyone has actually realized that ease of doing business globally for global parties as well as internally at the very corporate level have all improved in Pakistan. So Pakistan's ranking from 136th In 2019, we have jumped to 108 in terms of countries that have business friendly environment and have real ease of doing their businesses. So this is because of starting a business reforms, as I was mentioning, SECP and other government agencies revolutionize, and then we have great payment systems as well, bringing money in and out of Pakistan. Then there are other challenges of governance and taxes that have improved actually in Pakistan. So things have things are improving. There still needs to be uh, push and more further improvement, but we can safely say that in the last 2 3 years, there is great growth. So finally, all of you who want to really apply or who really want to start off their business and who really want to experience what a new business mentorship and require mentorship and growth, our seventh cohort is open. We have like few more days to uh, for our applications. They are still open. We are open till 3rd of May. You may apply and go to nickarachi.com/apply and apply now for our cohort 7 and be part of these amazing founders. More than 130 companies have started their new businesses, started their startups, and have gained good traction and business. So I think so we are done with the overall. We have still like 10-12 minutes. If any of you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Thank you very much, Asfar. I think it was a very, very useful presentation. And let me check the question panel and see if we have any questions. So there's a very easy question that I can answer as well. Do we have an NIC in Lahore? Yes, there is an NIC in Lahore located inside LUMS. And you can visit their website to get more information. And let me see other questions. Okay. So there's a question about funding. So the question is, what are the key things that a venture capitalist or an investor would look in a startup before, investing any money?
Okay, great. So VC looks at the overall scalability and the growth of an idea. In the last 3 or 4 years, we have seen that companies have actually received funding in Pakistan at the very initial stage, where what we call as pre-seed or pre-revenue stage. So, why a VC has invested in these companies when they are not making any money does not make sense. But if you look at from a VC perspective, the VC looks at the team, the founders who have started off this company, their promise, their education, their background, their grit, their perseverance, their overall journey. One, two, the innovative or the problem solving approach of their startup. Number three, the most importantly, the growth potential. So if we look at a Pakistani startup by the name of Bazaar and how they have got a good substantial funding at the pre-seed and seed stage, it's very open and they have discussed it publicly as well. The VC gave them a target of uh, achieving an X amount of customer base. So what they actually did in that time, was to achieve a phenomenal number, which was 10x time of that number that was targeted by the VC. So the VC not only gave them that funding, but promised the other round as well, just because the company and the founders were had a growth mindset and worked on growth of that product. So what the funding only comes when you have great experience, innovative idea, and eventually the growth potentials of it. If the startup is not scalable, usually you will not find VCs investing into it. Venture capitalists comes to scale, and their focus is only on those companies that can grow 5 times, 4 times, or 10 times, and it's usually a committed capital from their end as well. Since they invest early, they expect that the company will mature and materialize uh, based on the promise, based on the forecast, and will give an exponential return. So the VC funding will only come to those businesses that have growth and future forecasts in their minds.
Very good. Thank you very much, Asfar, for that answer. We have a comment which is actually accompanied with a question. So there's a lot of focus on cloning existing ideas, and there's a lot of focus on mobility, transport. So, based on your experience, what would you suggest to emerging and upcoming entrepreneurs to focus on what sectors, specifically in Pakistan? What are the growth sectors that people should be focusing on instead of just focusing on mobility and transport?
Mm. So that's a very interesting question. I think so. And I'll again refer to Munib Mayer. Baikia's founder is very candid about Baikia being a copycat or a cloned idea. So Baikia was inspired with an amazing Indonesian company by the name of Gojek. So Gojek is an Indonesian unicorn. Unicorn, some of you who are not aware, unicorns are those companies that have more than $1 billion valuation. So Baikia was inspired out of it. Careem was inspired out of Uber, but they had this MENA region to look into, and they knew that Uber was not that much functional in the Middle East and North Africa region. So they started off and found this market opportunity and then really scaled, eventually Uber acquiring Careem for 3 billion rupees, for $3 billion. Yes, not everyone can launch a Careem every day. There shouldn't be, the entire Pakistan should not focus on mobility only, or transportation for that matter. But it's very important that other areas and other focused solutions are also required. For instance, we haven't had much of luck in the agri sector. Agri sector has a lot of potential. Pakistan still has many of the key corporate organizations that are working in the agri sector. They want to have innovative solutions. At the same time, our major rural population has agriculture as their key income or the main profession. So there is a lot of scope in the agri tech space. Recently, we have a company by the name of Vitol Dynamics that is entirely working on mapping and helping the entire agri space. Also using different technologies to help farmers and their produce. So they use drones, they use different other techniques to modernize the agriculture practices. So agriculture is one that has a lot of scope and has not been worked on. Fintech is one area where we have different players coming in, but at the same time, Pakistan's 80% population still unbanked. So having those people financially included or using these medium is very important. So fintech or easy payment solutions, or there are other solutions coming in that are helping different financial processes. This can be worked on. There are other e-commerce areas which are not covered as yet, especially in the B2B domain, that can come up. So there is scope. It's not just the mobility or transportation side of it, but there, for that matter, Pakistanis need to explore a lot on content. There are very few startups that are working on quality content that may have global reach as well. So there are many opportunities for startups to work on, but I would say agri-tech, education technology, and health tech still have a lot of potential, and startups can work on it.
Perfect. So agri-tech, fintech, edtech, and fintech, right? So thank you very much, Asfar, for those tips. We have a question from Muhammad Ehsan. So the question is, what are the ways through which we can safeguard our ideas from being copied in case we need to share it with the investors and VCs?
So usually there's a process of signing an NDA, and usually when you have this letter of intent, this is also covered. So legal is absolutely necessary, but I think so this negotiation of due diligence process of investing in a startup is a bit tedious and a long one. Even in big markets like the Silicon Valley, you have investors, the time of first meeting to eventually investing in this company, and I'm talking about globally as well. It can be from 3 months to an year, so it takes time. So knowing your investor is also essential. We can have all the documents in place. We can have the agreement. We can have NDAs. We can protect our ideas through different IP laws. We can patent our processes as well, but at the end of the day, you need to work on those, and you need to know your investor as well. You need to know that if I'm working with a particular investor, I need to know their history. I need to know the people who run these companies, so that I get a best deal out of it. And at the same time, my interest, my innovation, my processes are safeguarded and are not just copied. So it's very important to analyze the investor as well. We can have all the documentation and legal cover, which is absolutely important and fundamental, but we need to know the person as well. That this may not come through a documentation, but all these letter of intents and these initial negotiations comes from knowing the person. So focusing on that person is very important, and it's absolutely essential. Then working on business protection and idea protection. I think so. The first stage is to know the investor, know their credentials, know what they have done or work in the past, so that you work with people who are trustworthy, and your relations are with an organization that believes in confidentiality, and at the same time originality and importance of of trust and transparency.
Right, trust and transparency. And those who are interested to join Nick for their cohort 7 can simply visit nickarachi.com/apply. The last date is 3rd May. So if you are interested, if you have an idea and you need support, so this is the best platform that you can get in Karachi. So since we have a lot of questions unanswered, but today's Friday, so we have to really close this session now. So Asfer, if somebody has any question and they want to reach out to you, how they can contact you?
So my I'm writing it here in the chat if it's visible to everyone. My email is sahussain@lmkt.com. It's S-A Hussain, Hussain with double S, SAHUSSAIN @lmkt.com. And uh, at the same time, we are still open. I know it's or we are almost near lockdown in most parts of Pakistan, but they can visit NIC as well and meet our team. If they have any queries, we are based in the NED universities. Those who are in Karachi can visit us as well, but you can visit our website for more details. You can contact me via my email. This is sahussain@lmkt.com, and would love to answer any of your queries and would love to welcome you guys at NIC.
Thank you so much, Asfa, for doing this session for us and answering all the questions and sharing your insights. We really, really appreciate our partnership with NICs across Pakistan. So thank you very much for that. And those who've joined us today, thank you very much for joining us again for this chapter 8. And we'll be back with chapter 9 next week. So make sure you check your email. You'll have the details, and we will also be sending a link to the recording of this session. So in case if you joined late, you still have the chance to listen to Asfar's entire presentation on demand. So the link to recording will also be emailed. So thank you again, Asfar, and we look forward to engaging with you again in the future.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Bye-bye.